Hey there folks, this is DMC Jedi Man, and I'm coming to you with another review. Now, last month, around November 5th I think it was, the first few people who purchased Forza Horizon 5 were able to play it. Now, I was one of those first ones that bought the premium edition for day one. Well, I should say day one, since the game wasn't officially released until the 9th, but anyone who bought the premium edition was able to play it 4 days early. So, the past month or so, I've been playing the game, and I've got enough of a handle on it now where I'd like to share my thoughts, let you guys what I think they did right, and what I think they have a lot of work to do on. Before I get into all that, though, don't forget, if you like my content, be sure to like and subscribe, and keep your eyes peeled for whatever I got coming down the pipeline next. Also, before I get into this review, I will tell you that I'm going to have a few clips I've recorded playing. There's going to be no audio with them because I haven't been using streaming mode while I've been playing, so because of that, there's copyrighted songs, and I just would rather not have the hassle of, having to have my things, copyright struck or whatnot. So, anyway, though, yeah, Forza Horizon 5 is an interesting game. It's fun for the most part, but there's a lot of things that have been keeping it from being as fun as it could be. Let's start with the good things first before we get into what I don't like. So, the graphics are amazing. Horizon Mexico Festival looks incredible. The cars all look, perfect. The weather's, unique and interesting. I mean, it's a beautiful, gorgeous game. Even on my system, I actually have the first generation Xbox One, so I'm not on the most recent hardware, and even for my system, it looks beautiful. So that's the first thing I can say in this game's favor. Second thing, and I'm very biased on this, but the game has a DeLorean. That's awesome. My favorite car in one of my favorite racing titles. Can't go wrong with that. Uh, the storyline is interesting. I think the characters in the game, aside from, the one that people create, but like, Angelica, who's the Horizon uh, XS, I think is the radio station that she's the DJ for. She's got a fun personality. Then you got the other characters, your promoter, and the other guys, they all have interesting personalities, they've got some cool humor quips. The racing, as always, is, really fun. There's a nice arcade feel to it, so it's not, simulation racing. Like, you can, take a car, barrel roll it off a cliff, you know, and still continue driving like nothing happened. You know, I mean, some of the stunts you can pull off are incredible. I think my longest jump in this game has been 3,000 feet off a danger sign. It's incredible to think that I can launch a car that far. And I've seen other people get even farther scores, you know, though I have to wonder how many of those scores are legit and how many of them are people finding some way to cheese the game. I mean, come on, 44,000 feet off a danger sign? That does not seem realistically possible. Uh, the selection of cars is great. As I mentioned already, you got the DeLorean, and other, great cars like the '69 Dodge Charger, the Charger Daytona, the Dodge Challenger. Plenty of classic Mercedes and Lamborghinis, but you also have plenty of new vehicles like the 2021 Ford Bronco and the Koenig Conan C. Yesko. You got that in the game. Of course, the cover car, the Mercedes AMG 1. Beautiful, beautiful cars. The music in the game is very well done, at least from what I've heard. Honestly, I've only been on Horizon XS so far because I'm into rock music, so I don't know what the other stations have. A cool little thing is they apparently have different music for the streaming mode. Like there's a dedicated mode to turn on if you're capturing stuff for streaming. Of course, like I said, I haven't been doing that because I've just been playing the game. The campaign, at least, is for most of the campaign, it's fairly short. Like I was able to reach the Horizon Hall of Fame within 4 days of my first time starting the game. I haven't done all the races yet, which I'm actually kind of happy I haven't done them all yet, because with everything I've talked about with the good, there are some major flaws. The first one being this game is an incredibly buggy mess. Like, aside from graphical glitches where the ground disappears or items are floating in the air, you know I mean those are kind of to be expected, you know but the and the occasional phantom car appearing or disappearing. But when the game first started, there was a, a glitch that caused people, when they were building up a combo, your car, you'd be in the middle of a combo and it'd be like you'd just hit an invisible wall and your combo would break. That thankfully seems to have been patched for most people. There's a a thing, a glitch where if you're trying to spend money in the auction house, sometimes it'll take your money and not give it back even if you didn't win the auction. That's been going on. The accolade system seems to be completely broken, where there are accolades that either tell you to do the wrong thing or they don't pop when you've done them. There's features like the Eliminator, where if you're in the game of the Eliminator, and I actually experienced this morning, it pissed me right the fuck off. Where I was trying to complete a head-to-head because one of the festival playlist things, and that's its own thing I'll get into in a bit, but one of the festival playlist things for this week was to eliminate 2 people in a single eliminator match. Now, after trying for hours and not having any luck, I ended up starting a game of it, and you're supposed to press a certain button to challenge people, and it wouldn't register for me. I couldn't challenge anybody, and if I couldn't challenge anybody, I couldn't complete it. I tried 3 times in a row, 3 different games of the Eliminator with that glitch, and finally I turned the game off, restarted it, and lo and behold, it started working again, and thankfully I completed it, so I don't have to touch that again until they do that again. And yeah, let's get on to the festival playlist now. That's got a few things wrong with it. For one thing, a lot of the challenges in the festival playlist seem to be broken. Especially ones where it tells you to complete something that you've already completed. Case in point, for last week, the festival playlist daily challenges, one of them was to complete an expedition. Well, anybody who's completed all the expeditions are out of luck on that one, because the expedition thing isn't registering. You can complete every single expedition again, it will not credit you. And so far, no one's found a workaround for that. Other bugged items have been, there was another one where you were supposed to complete a clean lap in the rivals, and it would not unlock for people completing a clean lap. But for some reason, if you had the dirty lap. If you hit something or use rewind, then it would register for you. I don't know why it did that. Also, now this isn't really a glitch in the festival playlist, but it irks me that they are forcing people to complete, challenges for Eliminator or, dear God, the Horizon Arcade. Now that thing, it's so hard to find a session for Horizon Arcade where there's actually a group of people there. Usually you'll find either yourself on your own or maybe 2 or 3 people. And the amounts of points you need to make, you need a group of about 6 or 7 people who are fairly competent at the game in order to complete all 3 rounds of an Horizon Arcade. And every single week of the festival playlist has had one where you had to complete a Horizon Arcade. That is the single most frustrating thing for me so far in the festival playlist has been Horizon Arcade. Trying to find a session that has someone, and I feel bad for us all because next week, not only do we have to do it for the normal weekly playlist, it's also one of the daily challenges to complete the 3rd round. Oh, I think there's going to be a lot of very pissed off people that are not going to be able to 100%, at least this month's festival playlists. So I really wish that they wouldn't keep making us do this stuff. Like, if they had it like complete 1 round of the Horizon Arcade, that's doable. Even 2 rounds, it can still take a while, but I've managed to get round 2 complete more often than not. But having it so you have to complete all 3 rounds, that it's the worst right now. Another thing that is frustrating is the return of the trial. And anybody who's played one of the previous Horizon titles knows what a fucking bastard that is to complete. Basically, you have to beat a team of 6 unbeatable Drivatars with your own team of other players. Now, if you have people who are, good at the game, able to, drive well, and work well with others, it can still be a task to complete, but it's somewhat reasonable. The problem comes with the fact that half of the trials that people enter, half their teammates are people who are just going to go full tilt right into the corner, don't apply the brakes, knock their teammates out of the way, and you can't approach the trial like that. You need to work well with your teammates. A lot of times, if I'm really close to a teammate, I'll let off the gas a little, let him get ahead, because I know the best success for us is to get as many of us in as high positions as we can. And once again, it seems that Playground Games and Turn 10 have decided to make the trial a part of the festival playlist. Now, honestly, I have had less problems with the trial than I have with Horizon Arcade. Every single trial this month so far, I've been able to complete with no problems. I think I've had to try it again 2 or 3 times at most. I've been having pretty good luck though, having, teammates that know what they're doing and are working well with me. Obviously the Playground Games event has returned as well. That could have been frustrating if it wasn't for the wisdom for Playground Games and Turn 10 to continue to make it where you only have to participate. And I'm really thankful for that. Because having to win one of those is pretty difficult. So that's my thoughts on the whole festival playlist thing. That too many bits of it seem to be bugged. It would be I mean, for one thing, I feel Playground Games in Turn 10 should do something for the players who have suffered through this playlist. I know I've managed to complete just about everything. The only thing I haven't completed in this festival playlist is the one thing, the expedition one that glitched. Now we'll see if this coming week if I'll be able to complete those ones, but so far I've gotten everything that I've been able to unlock, with the exception of that one daily challenge for the 24th upon points. Let's see. Trying to think of other. I mean, I've heard some things about people's steering wheels aren't working, in terms of people who use like one of the steering wheel controllers. That's something I haven't run into since I actually just use a regular DualShock controller is what I'm gonna call it, but I know DualShock's more of a PlayStation thing. There's been, it's just such a buggy, glitchy mess. I really wish that they had, I mean, they could have delayed the game for a month or two in order to get it, in order to get all the bugs and kinks worked out. It continues to disappoint me that game manufacturers or developers continue to push products out way before they're ready. I mean, all it would have taken is a month or two of people, doing beta testing for this and realizing, hey, wait a minute, this ain't working. We got to do stuff to fix this. Another glitch that's been happening has been people's car mastery points resetting, where granted they get all the points back, but then they gotta go figure out what cars they were taken from and spend them all again. Though so Playground Games has addressed some things though, like they rolled out a patch that helped to fix some of the wheel connectivity. As I mentioned before, they fixed where the skill chains were breaking. They fixed a horrible little exploit where people were apparently buying, I think it was the Willys Jeep and maybe a McLaren Senna. I forget what the second car was. I know the Willys Jeep was one of them, where people were buying them and spending a small amount of skill mastery points in order to unlock super wheel spins. That apparently wasn't okay, even though Playground Games was the ones that made the game the way it is. There's always going to be people looking for a way to get things up. Now, granted, I wasn't one of the ones that got all of those. The only car I've been buying in bulk has been the DeLorean, just because I'm obsessed with DeLoreans. So another thing they fixed was something called an AFK glitch, or not glitch. It was some sort of a workaround where people were able to like tape down a button on their controller and complete like really long races. That I can kind of get why they would patch that, because you shouldn't be able to just tape a button down and go cook a pizza and come back and have a 50-lap Goliath race done. So time will tell, to see what Playground Games is going to do with some of these. I know some things they probably will, try and roll out a patch for. I do understand these things take time. My hope would be that they would take a look at the next festival playlist, the one that starts the week after this coming week, and maybe take some of the things that are so frustrating out. Like, don't make us have to complete 3 rounds of a Horizon arcade. Don't make Horizon arcade part of the daily challenges. Don't make us have to eliminate a certain number of people or in head-to-head, or God forbid, don't make us have to win a game of an eliminator. I've not won a game of that yet. I've been trying for days now, just to eliminate 2 people. I think I've gotten to about 5th in the standings. Now I don't mind them doing the, finish 30th or better as part of it, because that's doable. If you've got skills enough, that's doable. So I don't know. Hopefully they'll get some of these taken care of. But overall, it is a fun game, and I have been having fun aside from those few moments where it just makes me want to rip my hair out. And needless to say, I don't have enough hair as it is to be bothering ripping it out. But I do recommend playing the game. I might recommend waiting until it goes on sale at some point for right now, though I do have hope it's going to get better. Not to mention, we do have the expansions that will come eventually. Those should be fun. Whatever they are. I have no idea what they're planning on expanding. I heard a rumor the other day that might be some sort of a city thing. We'll see if that's the case or not. That'd be interesting. Also, Playground Games Turn 10, if you're listening, aside from everything else I've said, please bring the Back to the Future DeLorean and the Ghostbusters Ecto-1 into this game. And the 58 Plymouth. I'd love to see the 58 Plymouth back, but those other 2, we gotta have those. I mean, especially, we've got the DeLorean. Can you really not get the Back to the Future one now? But, and of course, the Ecto, who doesn't want to drive around in their own Ectomobile? I mean, especially with Ghostbusters Afterlife having just come out in the popularity, you can see there's a market for people that would want to. Even if you made it a special DLC car that you had to spend, money on, I'd gladly pay $20 to get, a pack of Hollywood movie cars that featured those. Gladly. Anyway, this has been my thoughts on Forza Horizon 5. If I were to give it a score based on what the game currently is, I would give it a 5.5 out of 10 stars. It's got a lot of promise, but right now the glitches and bugs are holding it way back. Anyway, this has been my review/rant of Forza Horizon 5. I hope you enjoyed my video, and stay tuned for whatever I got coming down the pipeline next. Peace!